in Uganda that we are being left behind in this regard, because when you look at some of the more advanced economies, it's a bit obvious that they're using data for good. They are data mining everything, and they're using this data to get analysis that helps them make decisions at literally every level to help, grow their economies and effect social change. You do get the feeling that in Uganda we are still slightly behind the curve in terms of what we're doing with data.
That's very true, but I love that many organizations now are getting into data analytics and data mining and understanding that even if it's just a customer base, it's not understanding and knowing that, oh, I have 1,000 customers, but what do those customers mean to maybe production of services and designing particular products for them? It's slowly but surely getting taken up, but like you said, true, it was something that we would just want to have the numbers and spread them out and without necessarily going deeper. And so it is. If we're talking about 900,000 units that are condemned, housing units, what does that mean? Where is it coming from? If we're talking about a housing deficit of millions and millions of housing units, how then do we get to look at that data for the good and understand that, is it affordability? How do we get to deal with affordability? Is it just a mindset? How do we get to deal with that? So data is very, very important.
And when you think about it, one of the things that stood out for me in the last 2 days has been the fact that when we think about data, usually in Uganda we look at top-line data. So for example, the number that has been thrown around since yesterday is the shortage of housing units that we have. 2.2 towards 2.5 million. We've been hearing also that on average every year, that shortage is increasing by about almost 300,000 units. But then you're thinking, so what does that mean? How many people do we need to do what? So that sort of detail in the data is what now then becomes necessary.
That's very true. And probably that exactly means that you can cash in some money, invest and build some housing units because they're tenants.
And see, you are clever. You're very clever. I know that you have some really big names, some of the most brilliant minds in the tech sector joining us for the afternoon, so we won't waste any more of your time. We'll let you dive straight in and start mining some of this brilliance from their mind so we can follow along.
That's very true. Thank you very much, Ben. And for those, of course, who will be following up, the hashtag is NBS Housing Baraza. And we are looking at leading with data, like Ben and myself were discussing. And part of the aspects that we want to pay attention to in this panel is being able to leverage on and how the different sector players are leveraging the smart city, the Internet of Things, the big data. That is the conversation as we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. And through the discussions from yesterday, we were also paying attention to the fact that there are other innovations apart from brick and mortar. I mean, get your brick and then you're getting your cement. There are other innovations, and that is why I think one of our conversations online has been, if you would live in a house or if you would live in a home made out of, customized metal. They make beautiful houses, by the way, very, very beautiful designs that could come through. But probably because there is not as much awareness and just how much we can be able to leverage on that, that is why some people are still skeptic, because we're built in the brick and mortar. I will have to bring some sand and bring some cement and be able to put up a home. But also we will like to, in this panel, understand why the broad, reliable and frequent housing value chain data is very critical catalyst for attracting and justifying a investment. And for me here is that the data is broad, it's reliable and it is frequent. You don't just do an analysis and wait for another 5-10 years to be able to act on the data or get some other new data. So without any further ado, I am going to be in no particular order, letting you in on who the panelists of this eminent panel are going to be, and allow me invite Mr. Hamdi Ali Mohammed, who is the Chief Executive Officer, Soliton Telmek. Hamdi, you are very, very welcome. A round of applause for him, at least for those who are right here. And we'll be getting to see